Hi everyone, this is Rhoda and welcome to Tantric Vibes. Today I am going to be sharing a lesson about the Granthis, and I think the Granthis are very important to really understand, to know, and to work with. Granthis are energetic knots that develop along the major energy channel in the body that is known as the sushumna. And the sushumna channel is a major pathway of energy that runs through the spine. So when I think about this channel, I like to think of it almost as if your spine is a highway. And this highway, maybe it's clogged or congested with cars, right? With all of this traffic. And it just becomes very difficult to get to where you want to go. And so the sushumna is this highway. And the cars that flow through that highway, that is your prana, right? Your vital force. But if there is a bad traffic jam in there, your prana is going to be stuck. It's going to be blocked. So that traffic jam that I'm talking about here, these are the knots. Okay, these are the granthis that yogis refer to. And so these granthis, these knots, obstruct the flow of prana. And, we talked a lot about prana, or all about prana, really, in last week's episode. And as you know, prana likes to flow. It wants to move. That is the nature of prana. It is a living, breathing force that is not only in you, but in all things. And so when it comes up against these granthis and it gets stuck, it's not happy about that, right? It doesn't like that. It needs obstructions to be cleared so that it can flow freely through your body. And this sushumna channel, this highway or superhighway, if you want to call it that, in your spine, this is the pathway of Kundalini. This is where all of that really powerful serpent energy, right? That Kundalini Shakti at the base of your spine starts to wake up and to flow through. And so now there are 3 main granthis that develop in the body, and they're known as the brahmagranthi, the vishnugranthi, and the rudragranthi. And all of these 3, they represent attachments, okay? Different kinds of attachments to this physical world and to this life being in a physical body. So, for example, starting with the brahmagranthi, this is located in your root chakra, right down there at the base of the spine. It's called Muladhara in Sanskrit. And this granthi, this knot, represents our attachment to the material world. This is all about that survival instinct and our desires, right? The desire for procreation, that this is where our instincts lie. And so when we have that blockage or that granthi in this space, that means that we might be too attached to the material, right? To our desires, to our instincts. And when we become too attached to the root chakra, to the material worlds, we lose touch with the self. It becomes difficult to find deep fulfillment in the self. We start to maybe grasp, outside of ourselves, just grasping and potentially doing a lot of damage, to others, hurting ourselves in the process. Because when you are in this state, it's like nothing is ever enough. Do you know what I mean? The material world is just not really going to fill you up all the way to the top. So it's going to feel unfulfilling. It's not going to reach into the soul level. And so if you have that granthi lodged there and you feel attached to that part, you just always will have this sense of dissatisfaction, no matter what might happen in your life. And I'm sure, maybe this rings true for you in your own life, or maybe other people in your life who go through this, right? It just can't seem to be satisfied, right? With whatever comes their way, whatever blessings may come their way. It might be maybe a kind of fleeting joy they might have, but there's just this deep sense of unfulfillment underlying all of it. So that is the brahmagranthi. That is what it's all about. Now, the next granthi is the vishnugranthi, and this is located in Anahata. That is in the heart chakra, which is right in the center of the chest. That is the heart space. And there are actually different attitudes about this granthi. Some yogis like to say that it's actually the Manipura chakra, like the solar plexus area, that holds this knot. And I can see that as well, right? I mean, really, this one is really, it just depends on how you want to work with it. So the truth is that these 3 granthis I'm sharing, these are the main ones. But of course, we hold a lot of different obstructions, right? Just based on our experiences in the world and the things that we are holding on to. There are many different minor granthis in the body. Okay, so it's important to know that, right? These are the main 3. So the vishnugranthi, this speaking at it about it as it's in the heart chakra. I love working with this one. I feel like this is a key place. This granthi, this is our attachment to the emotional world. It's the attachment to our feelings and emotions. And if we become too attached to that space, we're not able to process our emotions in a healthy way, right? We're not able to really heal and move on from things. Some of us might think, oh, well, it's the heart chakra, it's an enlightened place in the body. It's love, it's compassion, it's connection, communication, and all of that. So that's a good thing. And it is true, right? It is an awesome energy center. It's a power center to work with in the body. But we don't want to carry attachments in this space. It's all about those attachments that weigh this area down and that bring that knot, that cause that knot to form, that cause it to thicken and harden in this space. This keeps us stuck when we nurture this kind of attachment. And it's really why the heart is such a vital place to work on and to find healing from. This vishnugranthi also ties into being attached to certain kinds of relationships in life, that just might not be good for us. Maybe you're in a cycle where you're just repeating certain kinds of toxic relationships over and over again, even though you just know that having this certain person in your life just might not be good for you. It's that is the blockage there, right? That is that attachment to an unhealthy, imbalanced relationship. So the blockage here in the vishnugranthi, if unblocked, it can really liberate us, right? It can bring us into a healthier relationship with ourselves and with the people in our lives. It will also help us to protect our energy more, to know where to put our energy and whom to give our energy to. And I don't know about you, but I think that is really, 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 really important. Because before I started working with this chakra, oh my gosh, I could probably name a million instances where I was just giving my energy, right? Giving my emotions, just giving all that space to other people and, just feelings that weren't serving me. And it was just a waste of time and energy. And when you move through that, when you clear that, when you heal that, it's just so transformative. So finally, I just want to go touch upon the rudragranthi. This is the 3rd one. And this is located in the 3rd eye, right between the eyebrows, ajna. And this knot, a lot of this is about being attached to individual consciousness. That idea that you are separate from everyone else, that you are in your own space and that there is no connection between you and anyone or anything else, which is a lie, right? But being born into these human bodies, it just kind of just does feel like we're separate sometimes, doesn't it? And that's the challenge in this life, right? That's the lesson. We get lonely sometimes. We feel like, we're we're alone and we're other, and we have this yearning inside our bodies for a deeper connection to everything and to everyone around us. But it's just like sometimes it's just tough, like to find that way in. And if what I'm saying resonates with you, then take a look at working with your rudragranthi and moving that blockage and just untangling that knot in the third eye. This knot is also associated with attachment to being spiritually superior. Like thinking, hey, look at me. I'm up here on this cloud. I got it all figured out. I'm good. It's about being attached to that state of being this spiritual super person with spiritual superpowers, right? Just being addicted to that way of being and just being real high on the self. And, all of that, right, is just, it's ego. And we need to break up these knots, these attachments. We need to allow our sacred power to flow, to really just let the deepest aspects of ourselves rise to the surface, without straining, without trying to get it all to make sense, without trying to make ourselves look a certain way. When your prana flows freely, when your knots are untangled, it just allows your true essence to shine through. Any sense of fear is obliterated. There's nothing in you that needs to strive to be or act or do or keep up with this or that. You just are. You're just you. And there's nothing more sacred and holy and perfect than that. So I really hope you feel like you learn a little something about these 3 granthis in the body. And I really encourage you, after you're done listening to this, to just take some time to sit in stillness and to reflect on these 3 blockages, these 3 knots within you, and to ask yourself what you can do to unblock them. Ask your body, let it communicate to you what it needs. And as you're doing this, of course, breathe. Bring energy into your body by taking full and deep breaths. And really, it's just allowing yourself to sit in this stillness and to listen to the wisdom that's present there. Even though these are knots and obstructions and our body does not want them, there is still wisdom there. In fact, sometimes it's those places, right, that we think are weak, those places that carry those knots, that carry that tension, that obstruction. It's those places sometimes that hold the most wisdom and the most power. So it's about being still with that, listening to that, aligning to that, whatever it may be, not shying away from it, not judging it, not thinking that it's not good enough, just not getting yourself tied up in knots, thinking about this or that, something that happened in the past that informs this or this. It's not about all that noise and all that story. It's just about getting quiet and being and listening, and then just moving forward from there. And so I really hope that, this spoke to you. And I want to say, if you are subscribed to my Patreon and you're a patron, I have a great practice for starting to unblock your granthis in a very gentle way. It's about just really working with the breath, working with visualization, and just, using all of that, using your presence as that launch pad. And using that medicine, right, with the breath and with the intention, with your energy, to really transform your inner space. And so if you're not a patron, okay, this is your opportunity right now. It's your opportunity to sign up at patreon.com. All you got to do is look up Rhoda Jordan Shapiro. And I can spell that for you too if you like. RHODA Shapiro, SHAPIRO. Look that up on patreon.com and you will find my page. You can subscribe for a low cost each month. And I will share, I share these podcasts and they're available for everyone to listen to. But then if you are a patron, I go deeper. I share special exercises and practices and things like that. and would love to have you. So please think about signing up. And wherever you are, whoever you are, I appreciate you. I thank you so much for listening to this episode, and I will see you next time. Thanks.